Welcome everyone back to Bioshock. We are just so dang close. This is going to be the second to last episode of Bioshock Infinite in its entirety. Which is good because it couldn't have come any sooner. In case you missed the last two episodes, you didn't miss anything. Technically, we are back to square one, exactly where we were before 2 episodes ago. The things that happened in the last 2 episodes, albeit very large and very epic, I guess is a kind of a stupid word for it, I'm sorry. It had a lot of weight to it, but like, okay, so it had a lot of bark, but really had absolutely no bite. That's probably the best way I can think of putting it. We had a lot of timey-wimey stuff that cleaned up plot holes, like what the hell's happening with that New York burning to the ground thing that keeps happening in our heads? Or why is Comstock doing stuff to Elizabeth in such a grandiose way? What's the end goal of that whole plan? We get to see that, but for all of the cost of what it takes to put it all together, it doesn't really say a lot. It was kind of just flimsy, superfluous, probably the best word. So now Elizabeth is kind of like has amnesia of the last, I think it's like 6 months for her. She's just like, alright, I'm back out on the outside again. Free to be me.
How thrilling to launch, how breathtaking the apex, and how terrifying the descent as gravity drags you down into the inevitable.
So, obviously we're ramping up to the final climax with Comstock. Hopefully to finally get rid of him. We're going to board his flagship, which ideally means that we are going to board his ass. In every way we can. So, unfortunately, with what happened with the last 2 episodes, we get, before that, if you remember, it was so long ago, Elizabeth really blossomed into being a strong, independent woman, having this amazing closure with her mother from beyond the grave. It was this amazing thing, and then all of a sudden she becomes a woman, but then she is kidnapped by Songbird and ensnared once again in Comstock's cage. Interesting note that kidnap has the word kid in it, implying that she really isn't a woman anymore because she must be rescued by Booker. So not only are we back to square one with the narrative, we have returned to before she was kidnapped within the time period, within the effect. Everything that is going on within the plot right now is like pretending that these last 6 months didn't happen, or if they were 6 months and they really feel like it could have been 3 seconds or it could have been 12 years. Aside from the fact that Elizabeth looks exactly the same. So, I mean, it could have been 6 months, it could have been 20 minutes, we're not really sure. Whatever time it takes to hook her up in the spinal tap chair and then leave her there was however long it took. We don't have any clear, and it doesn't really matter, because the idea is that no time has passed. So, we are not only like back to that square one, to where the last 2 episodes didn't really need to happen, but we are even before square one, with Elizabeth's character being now, once again, a kid. She's just a child, a daughter, who needs her corset laced up and has to have her big mean daddies killed for her. And so, kind of a weird place to be at this point in the game. Oh, hello. Gave me a high five to make sure I was paying attention. Oh, I'm gonna fall. There it goes. Oh. For a second I thought bad things were gonna happen.
This ship is set to return to the hand of the Prophet. I am awaiting your order to proceed.
Okay, so we're gonna fly up. I hope Elizabeth was following me. Luckily I've been going the right way this whole time. I was worried I was... Oh, there you are. Good. So it's just kind of a frustrating thing to have happening. Meanwhile, all of the area around us is just burning down. Not to the ground, because that would be inappropriate for where we are in Skylandia.
Possible to redeem the kind of things that we've done.
Redeem? I don't see much use in that.
Booker, are you afraid of God?
No. But I'm afraid of you.
Yay! So we have now transitioned to where Elizabeth's character is no longer a girl or a woman. We have transcended that identity entirely to godhood, which is I don't know if that's a comfortable place to be, but it's at least something new. An actually new idea to challenge our ideas of what to expect from these individuals. So hopefully when we get to the big climax of taking on Comstock, Elizabeth can show her cool god skills and be like, this is what you get for imprisoning me for all this time. Then she can have her day. You know, hopefully that's how it goes.
Another gunship on the left.
Even though Booker absolutely is not worth redemption, as I kind of mentioned within the last episode, where Booker has done not a damn thing to even try to be redeemed for the violent actions that he took previously in his life and continue to take on all of these people, which isn't a big deal because the real story is centered around Elizabeth. So that's why hopefully Elizabeth can find some kind of redemption within all of this. Or she'll just ascend to godhood. You know, either or.
Look out! More of them!
Where? We're actually just in the generic sky. Like, there's a lot of lame set pieces in Bioshock, but as cool as it is to be fighting on the decks of these ships and jumping between them, that part is cool. The set piece of you are in the swirling abyss is not all that memorable or awesome. Because I could just be in any swirling abyss. I could be in the Wizard of Oz tornado swirling abyss that was alluded to in the last episode. When Elizabeth opened the curtains and was like, ah, Midwestern tornado. Oh wow, our hand cannon is so souped up that 2 of these shots take down little mosquitoes in one go. Oh, not a chance. I'm so sorry, guys.
Much obliged.
Now that Elizabeth's back, I've got so much ammo. Luckily, I've spent all this money and time souping up the hand cannon.
Or we can just fly this thing to Paris.
Just drop me off if you want to. This isn't your problem, Booker.
I won't abandon you.
You wouldn't, would you? Look, there's skylines all over the surface of the flagship. They're covered with those motorized Patriot pods.
Well, that must be
Sorry to interrupt you, just do a thing real quick because there's bad guys coming.
Comstock is at the top of the ship. Let's head up.
There is just no more difference anymore between fight scene and like talking scene anymore. They all just kind of blur together. But thanks, Elizabeth, for explaining how we're going to get from the bottom deck of the ship to the top deck. Oh, poor guy. Just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I like how I can have a hand cannon and a sniper rifle and they just kind of equal the same thing. It's kind of like 2 hand cannons, just with different ammo. Oh, another guy. He wasn't even doing anything. He actually did not even attack me yet, and I had shot at him. That goes against most of my moral codes in first-person adventures. Or first-person shooters.
Ammo! Take it! Catch, Booker!
Much obliged!
Oh, there he goes. Bye. Poor guy. They say Booker has a mean left hook, but they really mean like he will pick you up with one hand and throw you over the edge of a plane, of a blimp 3,000 feet in the air. It's really mean left hook. Okay, so I guess we're supposed to just destroy everything on each deck of the ship and then kind of like cruise our way up. It looks like there might actually be something in the way. Fortunately, kind of one of those ways that game designers use their levels to kind of pad out the experience, which is absolutely useless and pointless, especially in the huge scheme of things. However, in this case, and completely on accident, it actually gives us a really nice amount of time to just kind of chill in a very weird way. Are we dropping Patriots on someone? We're just kind of like dropping them. Get these out of here.
Skyline is clear, Booker.
Just dropping Patriot Automaton somewhere in Ohio. There's gonna be a kid who's like sees this capsule and is like, Superman! And then Patriot comes out and is like, no kid, I'm not Superman. I'm your worst nightmare. So Comstock's doing his kind of fanatical thing. I don't know, I think I'm... Okay, so there's the next rail that takes me up one more level. I just need to do the same thing I did here. So get to that area, hit a big button and clear it off, and then ride it up to the top. Hopefully I don't have to clear the entire deck to do that. That'd be nice. Big red button. So having all of these fights in a row without having these huge things happening really shows the flaw of the pacing that has been happening with this game, where we had like an hour straight of just plot thing after plot thing after big plot thing that we're trying to like digest as quickly as possible. Kind of like an indigestion of plot, and now we have like an entire section where it's just like shooty shooty, don't have to worry, no worries about nothing, which is nice. It gives us a lot more time to figure out where the hell all of this stuff is going and where it has come from up to this point in the game, being what, 24 episodes in.
Perfect timing.
And luckily, I mean, we can tell we're getting to the end because we've become so comfortable with the systems of play that are going on right here. We're shooting bad guys and using our special magic techniques on them in multiple ways. We have the game pretty down up to this point, and they're not adding any new things or threatening to add new things, such as when you have empty plasmid slots or assault vigor slots, depending on what the game is. Oh, I'm gonna fall off. There I go. What? Oh, that's just mean. Man, sucks when you have weaknesses when you're fighting Nightcrawler. That's the teleporting guy. That's the teleporting guy. X-Man. Fortunately, no handymen around. This will all probably end in fighting one of those big guys. So I'm gonna still have to wait for that to show up before I can do anything. Okay, looks like there must be one more level then if we haven't There he is. I was wondering where he went. Hecka lockpicks. I've been trying to use all the ones I can, but
I may be the one
just
who
keep getting
strikes you
more.
down to it, but you've
Oh,
always
that's
had a
probably
knack for self-destruction. Who's to say you won't beat me to the punch?
Oh, this actually... Huh.
One more deck. Let me take care of this on my own.
No, I'm going with you.
Don't try to stop her, Booker. This is going down. Right here. Right now. Oh, okay. No, we're not going in there into, like, big areas yet. We've still got one more deck to clear, and then we'll do all that stuff.
Go ahead.
On it!
Elizabeth?
I'm not so convinced that Bioshock Infinite... There's our handyman. See? I was just waiting for that. I'm not so convinced that Bioshock Infinite is as much like a big world in the same way that Rapture was, as much as it's just a string of rooms, one after the other.
Find something soon.
I mean, maybe it's because there isn't like that mimetic or mirrored quality of going back to places that you've been before. And maybe that's something that I'm missing here, but there's something about it where it just feels like we're just going from place to place to place to place as the game needs. And so I guess is another kind of theme of consumption within the game's logic. Just like I've talked about the hyperconsumption of weapons and ways to kill people, and the hyperconsumption of themes in the game, all these other things. You also get a hyperconsumption of areas where, because you're moving through them so quickly, besides Streets of Columbia, I guess is an interesting place, a lot of these places you just kind of see once and move on from so quickly you don't really get to know them or remember them or feel them. I mean, things like Fink's lair kind of runs together with the Comstock house and the what was it? The House of Crows. The big crow house that I guess is supposed to be like this super secessionist thing. You just don't really get into it. It's kind of frustrating.
Some sins can't be forgiven.
Oh, that's what bad guys say before they die. Some sins can't be forgiven. They flashed the back of the hand to AD once again, in case you had forgotten, but we haven't seen that in a while, so it must be very important that they flashed that right there.
Siphon.
I saw this there. I could hear you singing from above, and the machine came to life in response.
And then in my mother's grave, there was a smaller one. They were draining me. Maybe that's why I can't.
Can't what?
When I was little, I used to be able not just to open tears, but I could create new ones. To anywhere I wanted to go. But in the tower...
Oh, see, there you go. We have those little amplification devices, which just look like amps, that have been siphoning power away from Elizabeth, and that's why she ain't so cool all the time, and sometimes she has trouble creating tears.
I'm ending this.
Booker, no.
Okay, we kind of get a bronze in history of Columbia.
I need to do this.
Come here, child. Oh, come on, I don't bite. My, oh my, how you have grown.
Tell me, what am I?
Look at you, child, you're a mess.
Let go of her.
Elizabeth, everything I've done to keep you safe.
Safe from what?
The seed of the prophet shall sit the throne and drown in flame the mountains of man. But the archangel revealed something else. Beware, prophet. Beware the false shepherd, Booker DeWitt.
Rude.
For he shall be as a wall between her and destiny.
Why?
DeWitt, I'm a fool. I've sent mighty armies to stop you. I've rained fire on you from above. I did all of that to keep you from her, when all I needed was to tell her the truth. Ask him, child. Ask him what happened to your finger. Ask DeWitt.
This is a weird conversation. I feel like he's just trying to one-up me in some way.
Tell her, false shepherd.
Elizabeth's not in this conversation. It's just Comstock and me and Booker DeWitt.
She's your daughter, you son of a bitch! And you abandoned her! Was it worth it? Huh? Did you get what you wanted?
Booker.
Tell me!
Booker.
Tell me!
It is finished.
Nothing is finished!
Booker.
You locked her up for her whole life!
Booker.
You cut off her finger, and you put it on me!
Booker, stop it! You killed him. What did he mean? Huh? You tell me, what did he mean about my finger?
I don't know. Yeah, I just assumed you were born with it. I don't know.
Your nose. It's bleeding.
Yeah, you shouldn't play poker, Booker DeWitt.
Elizabeth, I swear to you.
Got a bad poker face when your nose starts bleeding.
You too. You just can't remember it.
No. I'll prove it to you. We'll destroy the siphon. The answer's behind one of your doors. You just have to open it.
Destroy the siphon? It's the entire tower, Booker. How are we gonna do that?
I don't know. But I'll think of something on the way.
Booker, you're not gonna think of anything. You haven't thought of anything this whole game. Wow. Okay, so this is quite the scene. I mean, the stained glass, that's one thing. The resounding amount of nature is probably the most clashing part of this entire scene. And then walking behind the catwalks here, we have, like, we're able to see how framed the whole thing is, how staged the entire, like, a production it is.
Elizabeth?
But maybe even more importantly, you get that kind of clash. Uh-oh, glitching out. Ladies in my business, glitching me out. You get the clash between the natural parts of nature and religion, and coming together in form of baptism at the baptism fountain, and then having this room filled with death, or that can even clash with Elizabeth, her nature as something that transcends time and space entirely versus Flora life representing time and space and its neutrality. I don't know, there's a lot of ways you could look at that. Unfortunately, apparently Booker is the one to violently murder Comstock.
Elizabeth, stop it!
It's not a word, Booker.
Oh.
It's a song.
Well, that's one way to summon your captor. The summoning dance of I break your statue.
Shh, it's okay. I'm here. Will you help me? I need you to protect me. Will you do it? Will you do this for me? Just this one last thing.
Oh yeah, now the cutscene bird's on our side. We are gonna win so many cutscenes now.
Go, go, go! Booker, he'll help us. We can use him against the Vox fleet.
Well, we are going to fight Vox with the giant bird, so they're pretty much hosed. Anyway, thanks for watching the second to last episode of Bioshock Infinite. See you next time.